Hello everyone, welcome back. Jean here. All right, so I got a request from Michael, my good friend Michael from Planner Time with Michael. If you haven't checked him out, I'll try to remember to link him in the description below. He does mostly planners and some hauls and stuff, but he's hilarious to watch. So Michael asked for some shaker cards, and I have done some shaker cards in the past, so I'll link those videos also in the description. But this is one I've been wanting to show for quite a while, and it kept getting pushed off because other things I was showing, holidays come up and you gotta show holiday stuff. This is probably the easiest shaker card you guys could ever make. So we are gonna make that today. All you need is some paper, any kind of paper. You know, I encourage using your scraps. You know, you don't have to go and buy special paper for your product. Everything I use almost in every video, most things are from paper I've had for quite a few years. In fact, today's paper is. Okay, so, and then you'll need some acetate. I love this one from Duralam. I will link it. I get it off of Amazon. 25 sheets in there. And in fact, I'm just about down to scraps. I probably have like 3 sheets left, so I'm going to have to order some more. But I love using this, and I use other things too, but I keep this on hand for certain things that I use. Okay, let's put this aside somewhere. I'm trying to find where. So we got that. We're going to do 2 cards, and then I have some samples I also made too. So we have our card bases, just your regular A2 card bases. I'm just using regular white for that. And then the first paper pack we'll do, I'm going to make 2 different styles. So this is from Hunky Dory. I've had this for quite a few years, and I kick myself to this day that I didn't buy more of it before they sold out, because they sell out really, really fast. I get it off of HSN. This is, in fact, I'm hoarding it because I don't want to use too much of it. So it's got paper in it. I believe it's got vellum in it. It's got these kind of slicker sheets. It's got these vellum little pieces here that you cut out, and it's got a lot of cutout pieces. Very, very pretty stuff in here, but, you know, I don't use it much. It's special. But we are going to use this one for one of the cards. Okay, so I cut out, what I did was I took, let's see if I can find it. Nope, not that one. It's the butterfly one. If I have another one of it left. This one here. So all I did is take this sheet and I cut it down. So you can see where I cut that much out. And I cut this down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so that's gonna be off to the side for a minute, because the first thing we start with, and then I took out this from inside the paper pack, a happy birthday, and I did grab one of the little vellum butterflies we're gonna use. So that's gonna be the first card. You know, I like simple, easy. I don't try to do too much die cutting and stuff like that. But these are the easiest little shaker cards that you are going to make. So you're going to need a piece of acetate. So for my A2 size card, you need a piece that's 6.5 by 5 1/4. 5 1/4. So 6.5 this way. 6.5 by 5 1/4. Okay. Next step you're going to do, I know this is going to be hard to see, guys, because it's acetate, is you are going to score a 1/2 inch around all 4 sides. Okay. So now my little tool is bent on a tip, which actually works out good because I used a rounded edge. When I am doing acetate, I like to use my pokey end, but I go on an angle. So don't score this way straight down. I leave mine on an angle because I want to get a nice deep. If I use this end, I'm not going to get a deep enough in there for my acetate, because you want this acetate to be able to fold over. We're going to fold this over. I'm going to get it up there. And so I'm at a 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to go on an angle. Why does my paper look like it looks funny, but it's not. You know, acetate, working with acetate. So I'm just going to pull down. Okay. I'm going to go around all 4 sides. And I'm just making sure, because mine is bent, so I want to make sure I get my curved end up or down and the point up. But use whatever you have that you can score acetate with. And I'm pushing pretty hard. like I said, I'm going on this rounded part of that tip. So if it's not hooked like mine, I don't know how it got hooked. You know, who knows how I use it. Then just be very careful and push the side down on the edge. You can see how I'm almost laying it flat, and pull. Okay, then I like to do both sides because acetate can be a little stubborn to get a nice crease in it. And I always do both sides. And one more. All right, we put this away for a minute. Now, as if we were making a pocket for a journal, we are going to cut our corner off. We don't want, and I'll hold it up again. We do not want, that's not going to help much. We do not want that corner. So let me cut it away and then I'll bring it back up. So, can you see? Not helpful. You see, I cut that corner right away. So here's the little square there. We're cutting that whole square away is what we're doing. This just helps it, you know, fold down better. And you guys have probably seen these. These have been out for years. You can buy these acetate sheets already with the tape and everything on from Waffle Flower. I can link some in there for you in the description for you. From Waffle Flower, they already have the tape on and everything. But, you know me. If I had the ways to make it on myself, I will make it myself. Then what I like to do is get my little bone folder and crease these really, really well. So I'm going to fold them over and then give them a good old crease. So crease all four sides. I just kind of bring it up closer to me so I can make sure I'm actually getting on the score line and not somewhere else. But if you score it with the right tool, it will score pretty good and fold for you pretty good. If you look these up, if you look up like infinity shaker cards, you'll find some videos on it. This is probably one of the first ones I started making. One of the first shaker cards I started making years ago because they are so simple. Okay, so this is going to eventually go inside here. I'm just going to put it in for you, show you. And you want to put this in first, just to test it to make sure you have it cut right. Because if you have this inside piece cut a little too big, it won't lay flat. So mine is really, really good, so we're good with that. So now we're going to put tape on the back side. This is important, not on the front side. Let's put it on the back side. So we're going to use our double-sided tape. And we are just going to run some around. And we're just going to run it on all four sides as straight as possible, Jean. Any double-sided tape. I don't even know where this one came from. Oh, actually, I do. I think this is from Temu. There's no name on it. Let me see. This might be when I bought a thing from Temu. They had different size rolls. I wanted to try. It's not bad. It tears because I don't like ones that do not tear. If I have to use the scissors, I don't have time for that silliness. Okay, so we got that on there. And I'll just kind of take that down. Now let's put it back in. Don't take the tape off yet. You're going to put it in. You're going to make sure it's in there, somewhat centered. There's a little bit of space on each side. Now I'm just going to start, and you want to leave your top side open, or don't take the tape off your top side. So what I do is just start on the bottom first. I make sure it's down in there straight. Take the tape off. And then make sure that's down flat, and then lay it down. And I'll give it a good crease. Okay, so we're going to do the two long sides. We only want to do 3 sides. Leave the top side open. Okay, so I'll take this one off. And we'll lay that down. And we'll take the third side off. You know, the funnest part is getting that tape off, right? Okay, make sure that just kind of lays down flat. All right, so now you have that. Now let's fill it. What am I going to do? I thought these would, they're flowers. I thought these would work nicely because the colors kind of go. There's some yellows in there, there's some blues, and there's some kind of peachy pink. So I thought they would go, wow, that's weird. Okay, let me get that back on. Okay, so what we're going to do is just dump some in, as many as you want. You don't need a lot. You don't need to put a lot in here. And what I do is I just kind of like, and see how I like that. I mean, if you want to put more, you want to put more. But I think that's more than enough. Okay. What I like to do is kind of push the air out of it. Take off my tape. And then seal it down. Get that out of my way so I don't dump it. Okay. Isn't that cute? So you got the flowers, the butterflies, and those hearts. So let's put it on our base before we decorate a couple little things on it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to decorate it too much because there's a, you know, prettiness going on. So we're just going to put it right on and right on to our base. And what I like to do because of this acetate is I do like to put tape where the acetate is. And then I'll also be using glue, but because that acetate is going to take a while to stick, I like to have some tape and glue. Because glue and acetate don't always work well together. It's like oil and water, right? Okay, I'm just going to take all those off. Use my little tool. Maybe I'll be able to get it off easier and quicker since I broke just about every nail on my hand again. They're just not strong at all. They just break the least little thing. Okay, let's get my glue. Just got my little glue bottle down here. You know, whatever you have laying around is what you got. And I just put a little bit on the tape part just so that I have a minute to position it too. Okay, I'm gonna stand this up. Make sure it's the right way up. Stand it up there and push it down. I'm gonna hold that for a bit. I know we're on camera, we don't have time for holding, right? Beautiful. Okay, so let's take our cute little, I'm going to put that, I think, right there in the corner. Let's foam it up a little bit. Let's take a little piece, yay big. Yeah, that should do. Just cut it in half. So you don't need much to make a really nice looking card for somebody. Now, how long has this taken us? Let me put this here. The glare will get off of it a little bit. There we go. You know, your paper packs, most of your paper packs work really well for you. With a few, this was all from one paper pack, so I didn't even have to add no other embellishments except for, of course, whatever I have in my stash. And these are flower sequins in different sizes and different colors. Don't ask me where I got those anymore. I wouldn't know. You gotta remember, guys, I've been crafting for many, many years. Okay, so we have, without the glare, that so far. Okay, now I want to put that butterfly, I think, right here on that green. I'm going to bend him in half. I'm going to just fold him in half. That's all I'm going to do, so that give him a little dimension. Add some glue onto his little middle here thing. And then we're going to glue him where we want him. And I'm going to put him just in this little green area. We're going to kind of leave him alone. And hopefully he'll dry by the time we're done with the other card. All right, let me move that. All right, let me show him up to you and show you the little butterfly. Of course, when you put him in the envelope, he's going to go flat a little bit. But it's hard to do shaker cards, isn't it? Isn't that? See how easy that was? Just your paper pad, and now you have a shaker. And I think I got glue on up there, but we'll wipe that off later. But that's how it goes. You can take a fabric softener and wipe your acetate if you'd like. If you have a sequin, these sequins aren't really that bad, but if you have one that's really, really staticky, you may want to do that. Okay, so let's make it a little different. If you don't want to make your full front, if you don't want the whole thing to be a shaker, we're going to make a little different version. Okay, so again, we have the same card base. This one is from, this is a Echo Park one. I don't see a date on this one, so I'm not sure what year that was. So that's Christmas time. That might be like last year's. That might be a fairly new one. So I'm using paper out of this pack. So we're using a card base. We are using this snowflake one. I thought was really cute. We took some of the solid from inside there. And then I took one of their cut aparts. And we are going to turn this piece into a shaker. Okay, so this piece will be our shaker. So for that, you need a piece of acetate. Ruler. For this one, acetate has to be 3.5 by 4.5, okay? That's your acetate piece. Put that aside. Then for inside, you need a piece that's, let's see, this is about 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. Okay, so that's the piece that's going to go inside the shaker. And then this is just whatever size you want to cut it to make it fit. Mine ended up being 2 3/16 by 2 7/8. So I just kind of cut the best I could there. So we got those pieces. Let's quickly glue this down so it has time to dry, and then we'll work on the shaker for this one. And you can make these, like I said, you can make your shaker any size you want. If you want to make this one a little bit smaller so it has a colored border, you can do that. I like the look of the kind of the infinite, the whole card done like a shaker. I kind of like the look of that. Okay, let's get that laid down, and then we'll work on our shaker. Move that off the side. Give me this. We're going to do the same thing with this. We are going to score a 1/2 inch all the way around. I like a 1/2 inch just so that there's enough. You could probably do a 1/4 inch, but a 1/4 inch is a little harder to fold. I like to use a 1/2 inch. All right, and we got it in there, and we're going to score. If you guys have any requests for me, feel free to just list them in the comments below. I am always willing to give anything a try. If I can figure out how to make it, I will do it for you guys. Okay, flip it to the other side. I probably should have did this card when I first started and showed you guys this one first, because this is like the easiest one. Instead, I showed you a different one. But, you know, Jean's mind works in mysterious ways. Same thing, guys. We're just going to cut off that little square corner. Doesn't matter. Just so you don't want that square there. If you cut too much, not enough, whatever. I know acetate is really hard to show you and work with. Okay, so you can see, not really, there we go. Wait, there we go. We kind of just took that and got an angle cut now. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I want to fold over these and score them down nicely. Let me get my glue bottle back here, or I'm going to have dried out glue. Okay, let's score those down. Gotta be careful where you set your acetate down. You might take you hours to find it on your table again. Oh my gosh. Acetate can be so fun. Where did it go? And you can use any. If you have some acetate from packaging that'll work, use that. But when I'm doing something like this where I've got a score and everything, I usually use my sheets instead. All right. So again, this piece is going to be going in there. So let's go ahead and glue this on there right away. Okay, so we're just going to layer that up. Not foaming it up, of course, because all your sequin mix will stick to it. Just going to center this. Get the glue off my fingers a little bit. Make sure I didn't go too crooked. You know, if it's crooked, just slant your head a little bit. That's, you know, kind of what I do. I think I got it a little bit crooked, but, you know, we're just going to slant our head a little bit. All right, let's put that off to the side now. Oh, no, we need that. Oh, I did get it more crooked than I like, but that's okay. All right, now on the back side, we want our tape on the back side, not on the front side. So let's go ahead and get our double-sided tape on. And you really want to use tape here. You don't want to sit there and wait for glue to dry when you're dealing with acetate. Okay. Okay, right side up, put that in there. All right, so let's start again. Well, I'll start with my bottom piece. That's just me. You can start with whichever piece side you want, but I just like always start with my bottom. You know, you kind of get in the habit of, you know, one way, and that's the way it goes. Make sure you're laying it down flat. Okay, so now this is our shaker element. And for this one, because it has a lot of writing on it and stuff, I'm sticking with just clear because I didn't want to just, you know, this one, you can move the shaker around enough to see the picture and stuff. But I didn't want to cover up the phrase a whole lot. And I thought that because we're using snowflake, I thought this would look like snow. So that is what we're doing. Let me see how I like that. That might be more than enough, but hey, you know, we got a little too much in there. And you can take some back out, which is what I'm going to do. Take a little bit back out. Okay, now what I like to do is kind of spread it out a little bit first before, make it more flat before I take that piece of tape off. Get as much air out as you can. Okay, and then I'm going to lay it down. As you can see, this one looks way better in person. That just shine, those clear ones just shine. As you can see them in there. And all we're going to do is simply put this right in the middle or wherever you want on there. Just simple. Let's do our tape again too. Throw our tape on. Really, if you just want to try just gluing it straight down, you can, but because of, like I said, because of that acetate there, it takes a little bit longer to adhere. Your middle will adhere, but I just like doing it that way. Now, I hope this gives you guys a few ideas of, you know, how you can make your own. And whoever gets this, they're going to think you did put a lot of work into this. And it really isn't a lot of work. Once you get your first one under your belt. It'll go along really good. And you know me, I do a lot of like, you know, task or making, batch making and stuff like that. So, all right, let me get this so I don't kind of get that glue off my finger there a little bit. You can decorate these up more, you know. We're just, you know, keeping it simple. I'm just basically showing you guys how to make a shaker. But you can definitely add more to these. I have a couple samples here that I gotta show you yet. But you can add as much as you want decoration-wise or as little as you want. But see that a little bit? So those are the two that we made. So you have the full infinity one. They call this one the infinity because it's, you know, looks like it's just going on and on and on. Cute. I'm going to prop that one. That one shines too much. And then, of course, just partial. So let me show you a couple of the samples I made. So then I made one for the 4th of July, and I just used this paper pack from Echo Park that I've had in my stash. They don't have dates on it, so I just use that. And this is the mix that I use. It's got stars and flags and stuff like that in there. And I made this one. So I just took the big cut apart and put the whole cut apart on the front. And then you can see the shaker. And you can see the shaker bit's probably better in here now. So that one. Get over there. And then, of course, I had to make an Easter one because Easter's, you know. So this is the one from Park Lane. This is, I believe, this year's. Nope, 2023. 2023 for this one. So I used this one. And I used my little Easter mix. It's got carrots in it, little chicks, eggs. Used that mix. And I just did a simple one. I did just a chick background. And then the cut apart part there. The only thing I don't like about clay bits is they get sideways and they, you know, kind of bulk up there. So that's the only thing. These ones, the sequins don't do that, but the clay bits, they do. But it's still cute. So that's the Easter one. Put that, I want to get the shine off. The last one I made, I want to show you because how flat these are. I made this one to go into an album or a junk journal. So it's just on a piece of, you know. So you can put that because they're not very, you can see. I mean, look at this. There's no bulk to that, really. So you can use these inside your journals, too, if you want. So this is a another Echo Park. Apparently, I buy a lot of Echo Park, guys. Echo Park. And then this one. So I have never used this clay mix before. I just want to tell you something about this one. I had gotten this and I was going to make, you know, a Disney album and stuff like that. And this is from Just My Craft. Well, let's take a look. It is a solid, well, there's a little bit. The rest of it is in there. It's like it melted in there. So I had to sit there and take my little pick here. And does it happen to it? It's like all glued. Look at that. It's all big chunks. So I don't know if I'll buy Just My Craft again. But did anybody else have that experience with any of their clay bits like this? Or the Just My Craft one? Or what is it? I mean, that's a solid mass that I can still use it, but I have to work on it to get it to use now. Because it's like that whole thing is just like, it's solid in there. It's like, I opened it up and I'm like, well, that's nice. Okay. So let me know if you had any experience with the clay bits like that. But so perfect to use inside your albums, journals, junk journals, anything like that. You can make these shakers for an extra embellishment for inside of those. So Michael, I hope this helped out. I hope you give this a try. Let me know. And, you know, you can make some for your albums and stuff, Michael, your journals. You can do that for me. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one and you give it a try. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.